right, duelists, thank you so much for joining us at the Gamesguys Regional, but we still have one more duel left. You'll recognize some of the duelists because we featured them before because they just kept winning. This last one is going to be a hype match between Purrely versus Vanadium. So stay tuned, this is going to be a fun one. Let's go ahead and tune in now, our duelists are just getting ready. All right, laying out some familiar mats. Great looking Cyberstorm Access pre-release mat showing off that Firewall Singularity Dragon. It's a great monster and I'm a big fan of Brains. But we won't be seeing any Cybers here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get set up here. Beautiful Xyz sleeves there down on the side. We recognize Audulio, we were just talking about him. Talking with him. Which means we get to see him play a full 2 out of 3 sets, since we only got to watch him play game 2 last time. But he did 2-0 his opponent, so he is quite the person to beat. Not to say that James on our right side is going to be doing too badly. He is playing Purrely, and that is a heck of a deck. We've gotten to see it multiple chances over the course of the tournament. Still good. Could put that memory to 1, but people remember how to play this deck to the best of their ability. All right. Everybody's shuffling up, getting ready. Both of these players have enjoyed a very long day today when you think about it. 9 rounds of Yu-Gi-Oh! Been here since the morning just like everybody else. Probably the earliest in the buildings, except for the judges themselves and the great event staff we have here at Gamesguys. Speaking of judges, got to see a glimpse of some of our fine staff here. Make sure to remember to thank your judges because they've been up since 6 a.m., only dedicated to your tournament experience. Speaking of tournament experience, though, we have rolled our dice. Let's decide who's going first. Great sign of sportsmanship there. Drawn up, and good luck to both of these players. Now, they're both likely to make it to the NAWCQ, that is the North American World Championship qualifier, but let's see Audulio start with the Scareclaw Reichardt, allowing him to search from his deck to his hand. Scareclaw Arrival. Interesting, a little different part of the combo than we're used to seeing, but the Droll and Lockbird is going to hit the ground there. It looks like a collector's rare, by the way. Audulio considering his options. Remember, he cannot search any new cards from his deck to his hand because of that Droll and Lockbird saying no. That Harpy's Feather Duster was more of a go second card, but it's important to main deck it. You never know when you're going to go first or second. Can't win every dice roll. That's what makes this a trading card game. James setting his hand down there, getting settled in. Gonna go and set a card down and show up with Vanadium Meek. Now, you may not be able to add cards from your deck to your hand, but you could definitely continue to special summon cards. I'm going to see Reichardt and Meek go to the graveyard. Gorgeous sleeve toppers, by the way. Taking a quick look through the extra deck, trying to figure out what is the right card. And hey! Not a synchro that you see every day. Making sure that we go through the effects here. Just careful, considerate play. Hey, it's the last round and both duels have a great record, but one of them still wants to be number 1. And that monster may not stay in the field that long, as you see. It's really just food. Vanadium Torrid goes to the graveyard along with it. And here comes the Axel Synchro, Stardust Dragon. Just verifying that we got the math right. 6 plus 2 is 8. We are going to bring Vanadium Torrid back to the field. Still looking at that Harpy's Feather Duster. And one other spell I couldn't get a great look at. But it doesn't seem relevant as this time, because pass turn. Take a look at the Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon. Gives you the ability to, well, Axel Synchro. Kind of an exciting card from Maze of Memories. Of course, a tuner and a non-tuner monster. If it's synchro summon, you do get to special summon that level 2 tuner. We saw that from the graveyard. But during the main phase, and that's either player's main phase, you could tribute it and just special summon Stardust Dragon from your extra deck. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, you get to synchro summon monsters. So, that monster, by the way, is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Could be great for Bestial Dissipator, perhaps a Baron de Fleur. But let's start slowly here. We're going to drift off into a slumber with Purrely Sleepy Memory. Going to go ahead and use its effect to discard Purrely. And say hello to Purrely. Of course, when Purrely is summoned, going to try to use its activated effect. However, wait. We're going to go ahead and use Infinite Impermanence. Not going to see any more there. That limits the cards, and the Imperm column is active, so be careful where you place your spells and traps. Deck crosses the field. Just going to do a nice little cut here. Now, Pot of Prosperity is interesting. I hope you packed some extra Purrelys. Although most duelists know exactly the cards they want to banish. Going to go ahead and do 3. Yeah, just 3, so we're just going to reveal 3. Revealing 3 off the top of the deck is something that deck does well. Going to go ahead and chain the Exile Synchro Stardust Dragon. Tributing it for Stardust Dragon. Then when that card resolves, we just talked about it. Synchro Summon. So, 2 plus 8 equals 10. And now we're looking forward to a couple of different monsters. Could be Baron de Fleur, could be Bestial Dissipator. Remember, it's unaffected by activated effects this turn. We remember that. Hopefully, James does as well. No response, totally fine. Just wanted to read the cards, and it is Baron de Fleur. Can't quite make out the rarity there. It looks gorgeous nonetheless. Now it's time for this effect to resolve. Remember, this is Pot of Prosperity. You could just grab that Book of Eclipse and try harder. But that would put the Purrely that you special summon face down. Couple options there. We haven't normal summoned this turn. Take a look at those banished monsters. They were banished by choice. Just making sure to remember what they do not have in their extra deck. This is a painful choice, not of the old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Variety. Looks like we'll add Purrely to the hand. Send those other cards to the bottom of the deck in any order. Good job not shuffling. Something that sometimes players, they just lose track, especially when you've been here for 9 rounds of Yu-Gi-Oh! We are going to normal summon that Purrely. Going to go and activate the effect. No response. Not concerned. Grab in another Purrely card. Perhaps that wasn't the right play. Remember, it's going to be half damage this turn if we get that far. Went ahead and revealed again what card he added from his deck to his hand. Take a look at the extra deck. Good card placement from Maldulio. Technically, those level 1 Purrely monsters could be turned into a relinquished Anima, trying to suck up the monster. Looks like we're going to send these 2 monsters to the graveyard to make Sky Striker Ace Azalea. Now remember, we talked about this. That Baron de Fleur is unaffected by the activated effects of opponent's cards. Taking a look at Azalea, just to make sure we understand how it works. Maybe a little confusion amongst the players. They're discussing something. Listening intently to the judge. Got great YCS level talent here, so don't worry. They're here to help. Of course, Azalea's effects are not the type of effects that would get through the protection. Because if it's special summon, you can target a card on the field and then destroy it. But it's unaffected by those activated effects. We are going to bring out a Purrely. with the effect of that memory. Shuffle and cut. Poor Baron de Fleur didn't even have to use its negate. Just said, you know what? I've eaten my patented Stardust formula today. Nothing's going to get by me. Contemplating which of these 3 cards we're going to grab. Adding that delicious banquet of memories to your hand. Having to put aside those other cards. Always painful when you have to excavate cards because you think about the path not taken. If only I hadn't excavated these, maybe I'd draw them next turn. But there's no time to waste. Trying to activate that Purrely effect. Looks like we are going to negate and destroy. So Baron is not live anymore, but it is still unaffected, and it is giant. Beast of a monster. It's amazing level 10 synchros are basically a staple nowadays. There was a day and age where it took work. All right, Purrely is here. Sleepy Memory. Doing what it does best. Gonna go and present to cut the deck there. Targeting that Purrely. We know the negate's gone. No response from Audulia. So finally, we get our first Purrely Xyz monster on the board. And yum yum, it is Purrely Plump. Take a look at the cards in the graveyard. Both sides there. Gonna go and use the effect. Sleepy Memory and Sleepy Memory. Delicious. Talk about a dream eater. Now we are in the draw phase. It's going to be an interesting standby phase, considering that both players have abilities they can activate in the standby phase. Most people don't think about it, but you can go ahead and say goodbye to your Baron de Fleur. Place it with another card. It's level 9 or lower from your graveyard. Looks like we're going to draw first. Taking another look at the graveyard, just talking through the cards. Oh, no, we're not going to draw. Where Purrely Plump's going to add more cards under it. It's a 5 material Purrely Plump. If only we had a Purrely. But we don't. We are going to activate Scareclaw Arrival. We did see the Scareclaw Reichart in the graveyard. Go ahead and special summon that to the field, attack mode. Still sitting on that Harpy's Feather Duster. Not very helpful. I think that'll probably hit the side deck by the time we get to game 2. There are some cards you want to destroy. Obviously, straight Purrely Street, my friend Purrely. But before we even get to that, there goes Reichart. And that's it. Didn't even want to see any more than that. So it looks like that's going to be a scoop on game 1. So on our left side, Audulio does seem to take it. Just based on the demeanor of the players. Both of them still knowing that they're going to top either way. Really want to make this duel the best they can be. Again, they're dueling for our entertainment, but in that room, it's just 2 duelists and a judge. Just another day loving and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And we are seeing some cards come out. Curious to know if we can take a quick look at that Harpy's Feather Duster maybe coming out. Not that it's bad. Not that it's bad. Just didn't help then. The Purrely is still a strong deck. Lots of different variations. You can play it with Sprites. You can play it with Chimeras, actually. Don't just take it from me. Start Googling the internet to find some interesting Purrely combinations. But the deck by itself is still very strong. It's probably the strongest deck that is not Kashtira. And why is that? Well, it's a strong deck that's difficult to deal with, but it's graveyard dependent. So Kashtira, or heaven help you, Fluanda Rees with a couple of dimension shifters might do those Purrelys in. Manatium, on the other hand, also another big graveyard deck. And we've seen that, Kashtira is good, but it's not a guaranteed victory. Their weakness, well, they don't necessarily have a lot of monsters. So you could just draw some great Kashtira cards, and none of them are that wonderful shade of orange that an effect monster is, just staring at greens and pinks. Gonna go into a 7 pile shuffle here. Just being thorough. You lost the first one, you don't want to mess this up. Make sure those cards are sufficiently randomized, not clumped together. You may not believe in the heart of the cards, but hey, luck's a part of skill. All right. Gonna go ahead and draw 4, 5. There we go. Even making sure to count those cards before adding them to their hand. Very studious Yu-Gi-Oh play. No penalties here. Now, I believe that's a summon limit. Interesting. Well, first we're going to activate my friend Purrely. Let's go ahead and take some life points. 500 life points down. And then, time to grab some cards. Gonna reveal Sleepy Memory. And Sleepy Memory. And likely, oh no, going for the Sleepy Memories. To me, that telegraphs that the Delicious Memory is in the hand. Why? Because every other time we've seen Purrely Duelists do it, they'll try to reveal that Delicious Memory. We are gonna see Purrely Sleepy Memory activated. Discarding a card. So we are going to special summon. Smiles abound. But here's Purrely back in action. Going to grab its effect. Seems like we're pretty low on hand traps or forms of interaction on the first turn from Aldulio's perspective. Switch that to attack mode. Mainly because it just makes the Xyz materials look a little bit more even. Got our Purrely Noir there. It's time for another memory. This time a happy one. Now we're going to use the effects of my friend Purrely. Going to go ahead and set that trap card. Purrely is incredible. We've already seen how good it can be. Being able to do those additional draws because you're changing which monster it really is. 4 materials already means if we Purrely, we are leaping into a 5 material Purrely Noir. Alright, pass turn. Still in the draw phase. Here comes the standby phase. There's a draw. There's a draw. Let's go ahead and Purrely. Alright, let's spring into action. 5 materials here for Purrely Noir, so it's unaffected by the activated effects of opponents. Purrely Noir, excuse me. The names are very close, but there is a considerable difference. Look at the star level on the field just right there. Much higher in rank. Finally going to start our turn over here. Looks like it's the primitive planet Reichphobia. Going to Scareclaw City. Might be grabbing the Lightheart to go ahead and get Scareclaw Arrival. Searching through the deck. Thinking about that Visa Starfrost. Ah, that's who we're going to grab. And look at the commitment on that copy. Gorgeous Starlight Rare. I believe that's from Cyberstorm Access. Wonder if he pulled it from a pack or had to make an expensive trade. So we've got our 5 materials, counting them out. Now we're going to trade in the primitive planet. Let's go travel through space and time to get to the peaceful planet. Whole tour de force of the Star Wars of Kashtira versus Scareclaw versus Manadium versus Tearlaments. Although we don't see any Tearlaments in this deck, it's basically the rest of the plot. Grabbed our Manadium Torrid. Haven't necessarily committed any points to the board yet, but we got our first Scareclaw. Scareclaw Reichart. Gonna go ahead and be joined by Manadium Torrid. Got that summon limit. For those of you at home, summon limit locks things down. Once you've summoned those 2 monsters, that's all you're gonna get. So unless that Feather Duster jumps back into the hand, that very well may be the end of this turn with no ability to get through that Purrely Noir, who can just send those cards at the bottom of the deck whenever it feels like it, and, well, spring into action from there. Aldulio considering his options. Demeanor seems like he's certainly thinking about this. This is a real problem. A lot of cards can get through summon limit, but that's it. That's the end of that game. Going right on to game 3, conceding and also conserving that time. But understood pretty fast that that was going nowhere. It's really important, duelists out there. You might think to yourself, hey, I don't need spell and trap based spell and trap removal. Well, remember Mystic Mine. That's all you needed, just a Mystical Space Typhoon to keep the game going. The duelists don't usually run those anymore, so this is what happens. But it is true, too. Most of those Mystical Space Typhoons may not necessarily help you in a duel. But just like those Books of Moon and Book of Eclipses that you are running to prevent problems, spells and traps are problems, so consider that for your next tournament. Taking 3 cards off the top. Aldulio has his side deck memorized, staring intently at what appeared to be anti-spell fragrance, thinking softly to himself, is this what I need? Could I manage to slow down my opponent to where this just never happened? 3 cards in the deck. Mathematical chance is pretty high to possibly draw that in the opening hand. A little higher if you were on the side of James on the right. Running Pot of Prosperity gets you even further into your deck. Aldulio looks about ready to present. No major side deck options there. James figuring himself out. Swapping things in and scrolling through the deck here just to make sure. Don't see anything too crazy. Looks like the Tactics talent is going to come out. What's going to come in its place? Can't quite see. It's a little off camera for us. That summon limit did the job, though. All right, past the deck. Aldulio is satisfied. Still a few last-moment decisions here from James. Taking out 2 cards, placing in 2 cards. Can't quite see it. He's doing good. Don't worry, this isn't a remote duel. There's a physical judge in that room, so there's no sleight of hand just because the cards come off the screen. Of course, there's no sleight of hand from your remote duelist opponents either. They're playing fair. All right, shuffling the deck. I think we know what we're doing. This is game 3 of Table 1. This is it. This is the last duel we'll be streaming. And let's hope it's a good one. Could just be summon limit pass. We'll see. Making gorgeous 7 piles. Sleeves are in good condition considering they've been played pretty thoroughly all day. All right. Cut and present. We're going in. Aldulio lost. Shaking his head just a little bit. Not sure if he'll win, not sure if he'll lose. Let's see what he gets. That's 3 spells, a monster, and another monster. So we didn't necessarily get into the anti-spell fragrances. They're somewhere locked in there. Hopefully he can hang in there. Of course, if there is any triple tactics thrusts, now Aldulio does run 3 of them. There's a possibility that we may just set the anti-spell fragrance in a different way. So effectively, there's 6 copies in the deck. I'm going to start with the Peaceful Planet. Paging all Manatium to Planet Calarium. No Ash Blossom here. That felt like when you might. Although every Manatium player is different, so maybe it isn't. Looks like we are grabbing our Manatium Reamheart. Add that to the hand. No summon limit now, since there's no face downs on the field. Going to start with Reamheart. Go ahead and reach into the deck. Grab that Manatium Abscission again. allowing destruction and a search. Could be the field spell, but if you already have the field spell, as you saw James point over, then you do get an additional effect instead. Technically could be saving the Ash Blossom for that piece of the combo, but first we're going to see Manadia Meek, special summon in defense mode. Thinking carefully about our plays here. Both of these duelists are doing great, but both of these duelists want to walk away the #1 duelist of this event. We will see the Manadium Obsession. Going to go ahead and destroy Meek. Already have our Peaceful Planet, so we might get our alternate effect. Going to grab the Manadium Reframing, very important for the Vicious Astrolabe cycle. Going to go ahead and use Meek. And showing off Manadium Reframing just because, well, you really don't see it. We've seen plenty of Manadium this tournament. It might be worth taking the time to read these cards in advance. Just so that you're, not making that decision now for the first time. Although if you're a great duelist, you can make decisions on the fly. Taking a quick look at Obsession. Makes sense. No response of any kind by James. Nadia Meek is back on the field. And we're going to reach back into the deck. Saying hello to another Manadium Meek. This one should be level 4. As indicated. So we got a 2, a 4, and another 4. Of course, there are 2 tuners. I don't think we're doing any Jack Atlas levels of double tuning. But we will banish the Manadium Obsession to special summon the Scareclaw Reichheart. Taking a quick look through the deck here. Probably going to grab that Scareclaw Rival. There it is. Previous turns, we've seen that Reichheart turn into a Lightheart. And then Scareclaw Rival go ahead and bring Reichheart back. See how this turn turns out. Cutting the deck, making sure everything's on the up and up. Both players exhibiting great sportsmanship. Drawing a single card. What did that change? We are going to go ahead and see the Primitive Planet Reichphobia. Let's reach deep into the deck. And there's Visa Starfrost. Here and ready to save the day, the universe, maybe all universes. We are going to use Visa Starfrost. Going to target Meek to destroy it, to bring out Visa Starfrost. And so the quest continues. We're going back into the deck again. Thought about that Starfrost for a second, but just put another Meek out. Just an incredible deck, by the way, as you see. More tuners, more bodies. You can make a Firewall Dark Fluid Dragon at this point. Or whatever Link 5 material you want. Alright, going to send these two to the graveyard. Looks like a light and a dark, so it might be Chaos Angel. But no, okay, it's going to be our favorite Baron de Fleur. Don't think we were going to see Nibiru. We probably would have saw it revealed a little sooner. But this could be fine. Maybe this is a Dark Ruler no more, and get out of our way. Are going to play the Scareclaw Rival, targeting Visa Starfrost this time. Starfrost will go ahead and go to the graveyard with Scareclaw Reichheart. And looks like this one's going to be the Chaos Angel. Great effect, by the way. Those of you who are historical duelists know how powerful a light and dark monster could be. Pretty cool when they can break the rules and pretend to be a tuner. Now, no one's really breaking the rules. That's how Chaos Angel works. That's just what's probably being verified right now by James. He sighs a little pensively and decides, okay, that is how it's going to be. Quick look at his hand. We did see a Book of Moon. Various ways to get through. And there's that Vicious Astrolabe. It's not a hard once per turn. So we'll send Vicious Astrolabe and Meek to the graveyard to bring out the Crimson Dragon. All right, going fast makes us feel alive. It's time to rev it up. Now, remember, we do have a warrior-type monster and a dragon-type synchro on the field. Been talking about that Draco Knight E-Quest this entire tournament. Maybe now is the time. I'd be hyped for a super polymerization. But we're taking a second to read through the Crimson Dragon. Brand new card from Duelist Nexus, so it's great to see decks really taking advantage of the new set. Gonna grab Bestial Dissipator, allowing us from negation and some additional special summons. This is the final duel, so Aldulio is pulling out all the stops. Gonna get that Manatium reframing back. Everything's good. And there's Visa Starfrost back in action again. Looks like we'll be looking at a level 8 Synchro monster. Oh no, it's a Link monster for Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep gets various beneficial effects depending on what type of monster is special summoned to its Link Arrow zones. So we're going to bring out another Vicious Astrolabe, and it was brought to the spot where Cross Sheep was, so you do get to special summon something from the graveyard. So it's time to Synchro Summon again. Level 8 plus level 2 equals level 10. Just the craziness. It's time for 8 Ice Chains. You thought you had seen the full field, but little did you know that Ice Jade Gimmer Agarine is here. Staring it down, you do not usually see water monsters pop up on the field. For those of you who do not know what Ice Jade Gimmer Agarine does, it's got a quick effect. You can activate it. Face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn. What a great way to protect yourself without actually having to use your negates from Bestial Dissipator and Baron de Flail. And then, if you activate this effect in response to your opponent's card or effect activation, you can banish the cards that were used. And if this card's banished by an opponent's card effect, it's crazy. While it's in your graveyard, if you lose one of your cards, you can just special summon it back. So again, it is protection. And if it was a response, it's even more. And you can bring it back whenever you feel like. Well, as long as you meet the conditions of the effect. So it's not just Baron de Flail. It's not just Bestial Dissipator. It's Chaos Angel and Ice Jades. And we're setting 3. Cross Sheep's going to the graveyard. Let's see what we can do. We do have the Kurikara Div Incarnate. It's the first card that was drawn. Also have a Book of Moon. Could go ahead and use that Book of Moon to try to bait out one of the effects here. And if they did, Kurikara Div Incarnate looks pretty good. 1500 attack fire monster does more than just show up in the duel. It tributes your opponent's monsters and later steals them from the graveyard. Thinking carefully here, there's definitely a way out to play through 7 points of interaction. But we will start with Book of Moon on the Ice Jade. It's still chain that Ice Jade Gimmer Agarine. Start that protection is a quick effect. James feeling strong, confident, knows exactly what he's trying to do. Still thinking. Really talking this through. Taking a look again at the Agarine effects. Remember, the first word I said was quick effect. So face-up monsters cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn. That means the Book of Moon didn't necessarily do something new. And, unfortunately, it did give the opportunity for Aldulio to activate the effect in response. So, technically speaking, you might see a banished Book of Moon. Banished. And it does go face down. Got it started, but doesn't quite feel as good as you'd want it to. But now we're going to have to start playing cards. So Purrely hits the field. Summon seems like it's good. Just checking the face down cards. Got to be very careful. Interestingly enough, Kurikara Div Incarnate can't quite tribute that face down monster. Maybe soon. Let's see what we got. Gonna go ahead and return Book of Moon face down with the Bestial Dissipator to negate the effect of Purrely. Little shuffle, little cut. Go ahead and pass it over to the opponent. Let Audulio do his job. Still have to think about what we're going to do with these last 4 cards. All right. Time for some Purrely action. Activating that memory. Another one in hand, of course. We're trying to determine what to do next. Activating Book of Moon to send that Baron de Fleur face down. Challenging the opponent here, saying, hey, you got to do something. Oh, but there's the Monadium reframing. Take a look at Monadium reframing just to make sure we understand what it does. Sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh cards are so good you can hardly believe it. Remember, you could banish that card from the graveyard. But more importantly, that's a counter trap. And you're negating the activation and then destroying the negated card. Starting to calculate little life points here. Figure out what we want to do next. All right, did get to go through the deck. So say hello to Purrely. Gotten through the Bestial Dissipator. Technically gotten through Baron de Fleur. Or maybe not, though, because we did send Dissipator. So I think Baron de Fleur is probably still active. Because that Book of Moon got shuffled back in that deck. Let's go ahead and reveal these. You got Purrely. Lava Golem. It's too bad. James gesturing to the Lava Golem, desperately wishing he could add it, but its name isn't Purrely Lava Golem. We didn't have Purrelys when we were growing up in Duel Academy. Do have our 2 level 1 monsters on the board. Both duelists taking a quick glimpse at those sided cards, but not really getting to use them. No anti-spell fragrance from Audulio and no Lava Golem from James. Still have that Kurikara Div Incarnate in hand. Just trying to push and push and push. Sometimes you push, sometimes you win. At other times you overextend. Looks like Purrely's going to the graveyard. For the Kurikara Div Incarnate. Tributing those monsters. All 3. Would be the face down is a monster that activates its effect. However, when it's flipped face down, it's no longer the same monster. So it shouldn't be going to the graveyard. Hey, but you still get 2. And the 2 big ones for sure. And it's a gorgeous Kurikara Div Incarnate. It's one of those things when you show up with a Starlight Rare like that, you mean it. You are here to literally summon that monster. Taking a quick look at Chaos Angel. Making sure that it's no threat. Of course, the face down Agarine's defense. Definitely allowed to look. It's still the same turn, so it's still public knowledge. It's not until the next turn that it becomes private knowledge. Of course, that's pursuant to the most recent update of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament Policy Guidelines. But we finally played through the stuff. Maybe this is the moment. We have our Purrely Happiness. Happiness not necessarily the go-to for these. Usually we see Plump or Noir. Gonna go in and attack. Take a look at the Chaos Angel here. Having a moment where maybe you forgot about my monster special ability. Confirming what we've got. Chaos Angel is such an incredible card. Great set, worthy playmat. For those of you at home, remember, this card gains these effects based on the original attributes. Synchro monsters you control are just unaffected by monster effects activated by your opponent. If there was a light, And if there was a dark, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. We believe there was a light because, as you can see, the Monadium Reinhardt is there. And that is an activated effect. So Purrely happiness, well, may not be as happy as we expected. Talking through the effect, making sure that we understand what it is we're up against. It's a very big board. You can almost see the relief as Julio holds his own card. Sort of understanding what it is that it does, how it's going to help the situation. Little bit of explanation. They're trying to talk things out. Luckily, they do have a judge in the room. Trying to make sure we understand. Remember, these players do have the right to appeal. But it looks like we're just trying to figure out what's going on. Take a look at the Purrely happiness. Make sure we're reading the card too. Taking a quick look. Cycling through the deck. Now remember, Purrely happiness is an activated effect. Still trying to figure out what we've got going on. Talking a lot about Agri. What a great board. Think about this. We are still on turn 2 of this duel. And it has taken all of this time through legal plays for James to catch up this far. Just trying to work his way back. Maybe a little calories will help with that Purrely delicious memory. We'll go ahead and bounce that trap card back to the hand. Still can attack again during the battle phase. Crashing into the Ice Jade Agarian. Of course, it can attack multiple times because of its attached materials. Thinking about what you want to do there. Neither duelist is giving up an inch. Trying to determine what is it that we want to grab out of the deck. So many options. It looks like we'll go ahead and add in another happy memory. And we'll use that to bounce that one back to the hand. And attack again. It may not be able to be destroyed, but it is a body. So we go ahead and get to attach that again. And attack again. Because remember, it can attack a number of times of the memories plus 1. And when it's attacking, good stuff's happening. It gives it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 materials. And also grabs straight Purrely Street at the end. That Kurikara Div Incarnate should have a massive attack because of its 2 tributes. So let's do a little bit of damage calculation. But remember, the monsters will not be destroyed. So Chaos Angel gets to continue to reign. But we might be in for a real treat here. This might be the Purrely comeback. I've already seen Julio win before. Now it's really time to prove. Just like he said, yes, I'll be at the next regional because I want to continue to improve this deck. I love this deck. Well, this is the challenge he asked for. Going to go ahead and do a little life point math here. Loss of 900, so it's 8,100 to 9,000. Of course, the Purrely cards allowing for that extra 1,000. Time for a little Xyz summon. It's X-Purrely Noir. It has way more than 5 materials, so it's unaffected by the activated effects. You did that to me, I'll do that to you, right? Ice Shade, Gimmer, Agarian. Going ahead and stopping those effects. Now we're going to special summon Baron de Flare with the effect of Kurikara Div Incarnate. And use the effect of the Stray Purrely Street to grab that sleepy memory. Might be time to take a nap. And remember, each of those 2 materials can send a card to the bottom of the deck ad nauseum. There is no once per turn on that. We're going to draw. Standby phase is going to be very interesting. Standby phase. Going to draw a card. But it's just that one memory. We're only going to draw one. Doing pretty good with the Baron de Fleur. James feeling like those monsters answer to me now. Turning Chaos Angel to defense mode. Using the effect. Gesturing over to Kurikara and Div Incarnate. Is going to get sent to the graveyard. Kurikara is good, but it definitely served its purpose. Getting out that free Baron de Fleur, man, is that sweet. Agarine's going to go to attack mode. We did have a monster effect used this turn, so triple tactics thrust. Gonna have some fun. All right. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plenty of materials. And plenty of monster effects to activate with that EX Purrely Noir. Setting a card and passing for turn. So we're going to see the Stray Purrely Street. Go ahead and crack open the deck once more. This duel is not over. Let's go ahead and grab what looks like a happy memory. Attach that straight over to X Purrely Noir. Draw a card for turn. Looks like it's an infinite impermanence. That could be huge depending on what that set card is. Unless it's another imperm. Gonna go ahead and look at that Agrine. Normal summon Purrely. Gonna go ahead and banish it. And 2 like it. And that's it. Looks like James is conceding. And now Dulio takes it. You can clap now, but when the duelists open that door, that's when the real cheering should begin. Because it sounds like Dulio is your undefeated duelist for this regional. With Manadium and what a field using Vicious Astrolabe, Cross Sheep, Baron de Fleur, even Ice Jade Giver Agrine. Better hit up TCG Player now, because that card might spike up just a little bit. But we'll see, we'll see. We'll get a chance to talk to our champion shortly. But remember, cheer for him when that door opens. All right, cross out designators, by the way. Interesting. We'll get a chance to talk to Audulio soon to follow up on, well, he said he wasn't worried about any decks. Now we see why. Going to go ahead and make sure the match slips over to our players. Thank you to our wonderful staff here. And then we'll get a quick interview with our local hero. All right, Penn is hitting the sacred document, that match slip. Great showcase that all those new cards really get something done. Already calling the friends, by the way, to let them know, hey, I made it. And here he comes. Let's go, guys. Oh, it looks like James actually is the winner. Come on and have a seat.
How's it going, sir?
Good, good. We had a little confusion on our side. Go ahead and put that on. We thought that you were actually not the person who won.
Oh, yeah, no. I won. I only won because I was able to do 1,000 points of damage.
There you go.
Yeah,
okay.
With, Kurikara. So
nice job. The Kurikara Div Incarnate goes a long way.
I think first time all day it came in handy. I was like, ooh.
Pull yourself in here a little bit because you are our champion, James. So, that duel was crazy.
Yes.
Having to deal with things like Chaos Angel, Baron de Fleur, Ice Jades, everything. What were you feeling like when you were staring at that div incarnate the whole time and just trying to get a gun?
I barely even know what that deck does. So I was like, that was my biggest issue. I was like, ooh.
It is true that we haven't really seen a lot of Monadium decks played. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Purrely, so you know what your deck does.
Yes.
But how do you, as a Purrely duelist, sort of like exist in your ecosystem without really knowing what's out there? There's no wrong answers, though. It's not a trick question.
I mean, honestly, it's, how can I explain this? The way I would play it, say, like since I mostly don't know what that deck does, I try and anticipate what I can do just in case of what they will have. I know that might sound stupid or something, but that's the best way I can do it because, you know, what can I do to prevent myself from dying? You know, because I know Synchro's a lot. Like that level 8 dragon, he brought out Synchroed. I was like, well, you know, I didn't fully read it, and it cost me that game. I was like, ooh, you know.
It is one of those things we were all cheering about the Ice Jade because we just don't see it. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that your opponent automatically wins. You kept your cool, you read your cards, you took the time. How was it, just say, when you attempted to book a moon the Ice Jade, and we saw the quick effect go ahead and kick in, was that a little bit of a throw a wrench in the gears?
No,
or were you able to just kind of keep going?
I was trying to bait out effects because I drew the Curry card from a 6 card, so I wanted to bait out as many effects as I could and get rid of his counter trap. And if I did that, I knew I would have been semi-okay. If he had D-Barrier, I was straight done.
That's any deck that uses just one extra deck type.
Yeah.
That said, there's a lot of Purrely duelists out there. Not all of them are as lucky as you.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice out there? Any tips? Any tricks? If you got a Purrely deck in your hands, what should you be placing in it? What's the sauce?
Honestly, it all depends on your playstyle.
Okay.
You know, not everyone has the same playstyle. Some people like cross out. I can't stand that card. And a lot of, you know, pro players and better players than myself, you know, recommend that card. But me, I'm like, I'm not gonna play that card. Okay. You know, so I really can't. You know, I don't have a good answer for that question. But you know, it's just play how you like to play.
Makes sense. Is this your first time going undefeated in a regional?
Yes, not my first regional win, but first time going fully undefeated.
Fully undefeated. Yeah. So you're going to get, should be a new regional deck box, that gorgeous new playmat, and then whatever other prizes the game guys have for you. Do you have any shout outs since you're the guy?
Shout out to my sponsor, Jacob Mendoza. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my daughter. Shout out to my buddies, I guess. Off the top of my head, I really, can't think. Those are the main 3 for sure. My wife, my daughter, and my sponsor. And my buddies, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they all had to basically wait outside for you. Now, congratulations. Go enjoy yourself. And, hey, hopefully we see you next regional.
For sure. Have a good one.
Anytime.
Appreciate you.
And so that's all we got for you at this point. We're going to go ahead and post standings in just a little bit. I've been Pheromone. This has been the Game Guys stream, and it's kind of been incredible. This venue is insane. If you have not been to Pasadena, Texas, get in the car, turn on Google Maps, and come down to Pasadena, Texas, because the Houston Game Guys are just insane. The quality of this venue, the quality of the fact that we have a separate stream equipment, stuff like that, is just incredible. This will all be on YouTube for those of you who are watching here in the audience. And for everybody at home, thank you so much for joining us for 9 rounds. But we'd rather see you here next time. So, hey, next time it's time to duel, I know exactly who I'm expecting. You. This has been Pheromone signing off. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Don't forget to check out Dank Rituals. Their link will be down in the description. Also, you guys should definitely join my Facebook group. I have a lot of really cool updates and a lot of really good information that you guys might want to keep up with about giveaways and whatnot on there. Also, please guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I would like for you guys to turn on that bell notification as well. I would like to grow my percentage of subbed and not subbed from 20% higher. I would really appreciate that. And don't forget to like, comment, share. You already know, guys. Appreciate y'all very much, and I'll see y'all in the next video.